Good day everyone, Q here. So last night was a pretty slow start to the market. I woke up in the morning and turned my computer on and I saw absolutely nothing moving that I could trade. So the only thing moving last night at the start of pre-market session, well not the start of pre-market session, but around 7 o'clock were penny stocks. So I don't trade penny stocks, well I try not to. They're a little bit difficult for me to trade, higher share size, and also I get charged a higher commission on penny stocks as well, so good reason not to trade them. Anyway, it took me a couple of hours before I took my first trade. DWTX started popping up, and I think it moved from around $13 up to $14 initially. I didn't jump in it at the start as it sort of pulled back pretty much straight away and then popped again. I actually took a trade on the low. I'll just bring that up. So I got in on this one here. So it had already made this move. This is the 5-minute chart up here. It had already made this move up here around just after 8 o'clock, and it had pulled all the way back and then come up again. I'd missed both of those moves. I didn't trade it at all there. I actually traded it on this pullback through here, this curl. So I got in here at, what was my entry? Just have a look here. My entry was at $12.13 and my exit was at $12.35. So I made 22 cents a share on my first trade. It was green, so that was a good start. But really, after that, everything went downhill. So I traded GV next. Now, GV. This stock here, actually if I bring it up on the charts, have a look. So GV here at, what time was that? 9 o'clock news came out, fresh news on GV. Something about them reducing their debt, I think, by selling shares to the to the creditor. But anyway, it popped up here. I didn't trade it through this area at all. I sort of missed most of this trade, and because it had been up prior a couple of times this week and last week, I think, I didn't know if it was really going to make a big move. And I finally broke the ice on it right here. I think it was right in here on this pullback at the top. So bought in at the top, obviously didn't take any profit on that one. And then it just pulled back and I exited here on this candle here. Yeah, so I got in at $7.76 and my exit was $7.42. So down 34 cents a share. That's a bit more than my stop loss. So I wasn't very happy with that. I bought straight back in. So when I exited about here on the second red candle in here, I actually bought pretty much straight away back in on that candle. if I bring up this one here, you can see here, I've just exited the trade on this red here, and I've basically bought straight back in. It did curl back up, and I missed my exit up here. I didn't get filled, and it flushed all the way down here, came up again. I didn't take an exit here either, and this was the problem last night. I held until I lost, and I had a massive loss on this one, down 70 cents a share, so that put me in the red on the day. Let's have a look here. So that put me in the red, down $190 on the day I was down. So loss of $70, 200 shares, it was 142 on that one. I lost 34 cents a share, 68. Wow. Yeah, around $68 on that as well. So not good to be down that far, trying to dig myself out of a hole. OPRX was the next stock I traded. This has popped up. OPRX. Yeah, so this popped up at the open. I didn't trade through this area here. I'll actually bring up my chart because I can't remember where I went in. I think I did trade. Yeah. So I bought after it flushed down and was coming back to make a new high. I bought in here at on this candle here at around $5.85, 84, and held it until it broke through the pivot and actually pushed into a halt. I sold into the halt as I didn't feel like I wanted to hold it through after the halt. It did resume a little bit higher but then pulled back, and I didn't want to touch this. This was a bit too volatile for me and I wasn't sure if it was going to hold. Got up to a high of 674 and then pulled back, but I left that stock alone for a while. Next trade I took was VSTE. Shouldn't have traded that. Not sure why I traded VSTE. It's a penny stock. It had been going up all morning, and if I wanted to have traded that better, I should have traded it earlier in pre-market, not after the open. As it had pushed basically from the low up through VWAP and then massive rejection, I thought I'd buy the dip and see if it would push back up. It didn't. It flushed further down and I took my loss as soon as I could get out on that stock. So another big loss. It was only actually 7 cents a share, but because I took 1,000 shares, it was a bigger loss than it needed to be at $73. So not a great start actually to the night. It was a long night, and then I started trading at the open, and I shouldn't have taken the majority of my trades at the open. But my next stock I went back to was OPRX. I managed to get 28 cents a share on this trade though, so that was a good trade. I'll just bring that up. Let's have a look here. What's this one? OPRX. So this was later on, about 10 to 11 market time. It had rallied up from a low and was looking to break up through VWAP. I took a pullback here, entry, and just held looking for that breakthrough. Broke through and made a new good breakthrough, and I took that off the table at around $6.26. And my entry here was around $5.96. So good trade there, about 28 cents per share of profit in that trade, which I needed it to be. Because at the moment I'm still down $114 on the night. CRVO was another stock that had, that was sort of the leading gapper, I think, for most of, after the open, for most of the day. And I took quite a few trades on this. I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades on this. And it was a mixed bag. My first trade, I think I got squeezed out of, or was that the flush? Yeah, so my first trade, I bought in on the flush here, looking for the pullback. Pulled back further than I thought it was going to go, and probably because I'd had a few losses already, big losses, I took an early entry here and got out quickly before it, just in case it flushed all the way down through VWAP. I didn't buy back on the low as it came back up, which is probably where I should have bought back in, probably around either here for an aggressive entry as it broke through that first high, that green candle, or here as it broke over there, over that second candle. Those would have been good entries to get back in, and then I would have been taking my profit up here, but instead I'm entering up here to look for it to curl higher. It pulled all the way back, and I held through this pullback and eventually took my profit up here around $5.95, 96. So not a very clean trade, especially holding through a major pullback where I could have been easily caught out again and had a big loss. So those two trades, first one I was down 12 cents a share, and the second one I was profitable up 27 cents a share. So now I am basically about $84 in the red, and I'm still trying to bring that back into the green. Next trade on CVO, I think I got filled randomly on this one. Yeah, so basically I got a good entry here looking for a quick scalp sort of trade, and when I hit the sell key it filled me lower than my entry. So yeah, not great. Should have put a placed a limit order possibly and just held that one. Once again, my next trade, I jumped in here at, what price is that? Around the whole dollar, around $6, looking for it to break up through up over 625, 630. And once again, I didn't get filled well. I was pushing the sell key sort of up here, I think, maybe a bit late, and maybe it had dropped. But once again, got filled, a terrible fill on it. And then once again here, I bought probably a bit high, around 626. It pulled all the way back and really struggled to break over 620 after this. So I just took my exit sort of as close as I could after a while. I was getting a bit nervous that it was going to break down. And that brought me down to, what's that? Well, so then I dropped to $94, a loss on the day. Next trade on CRVO, managed to make $15 on that, got 8 cents. Entry on break of the pivot. So my entry was here on this. Actually, that was already gone over that trade, haven't I? That was on that same chart. Yep. So by the end of those 3 trades, I am now back up $107 in the red. And then my last trade on CRVO, I managed to get 5 cents out of it. So not a great trade. Not even a base hit really. Oh, this one, yeah, that's right. So I missed the entry down here. I missed this entry here. It pulled away, came up here. I bought the pullback, hoping to get a push higher, 620, somewhere around there. It sort of went into consolidation and then pulled back. And once again, on the when it broke through 6, because it had a seller at 5.95, it just wouldn't break. And I watched it, and it finally broke, and I took my profit here, but I still got filled around 5.90, 5.95 on that candle. So not a great trade. Really stalled out. Really needed to be in down here, or even down on the low here, looking for that breakout. So got to do better in that area. We're actually getting in instead of trying to buy the bottom of the candle. Sometimes I'll place a limit order down around the base of a support area, looking to get filled, and often I either don't get picked up, or I just miss out by a cent or two because I'm too low. And it's probably better to buy in this area here anyway when it's breaking a pivot point, because then it's actually showing that it's going to go. And buying in this area here, unless it's a false breakout, then I've got a better chance of actually getting in at the right time and getting out quickly. And then at the end of the day, of the open market open, I traded MSTZ. This one here was a higher price stock. It had made a move up to $22, I think, during the day. Just bring this one up on the STZ. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, so it made a high of $22 over the course of the day. I did not trade that. I waited until the very end of the day. So it had just broken up through VWAP twice, and it was pulling back. I looked at taking a trade here in this area here. I was looking at hoping it would hold the support level along here and push back through VWAP and make a new high. So break back and break higher than this candle here. But it didn't. It instead carried on further down and eventually ran into support along this level. I held through that and held through to nearly the close. I placed a limit order up here at $20.40, and it got filled. So that was great. Got 25 cents a share on that. That was about $50 in profit on that trade. So decent trade, and brought me down, not out of the red, but more manageable loss. around $47, $43 gross. So yeah, so end of the day, $43.77 in the red in gross. So another red day this week. It's my second red day this week, and that puts me in the red overall for the week by about $27 gross. Fees and commissions have got to go out from that as well, so it'll probably be further in the red, but my fees and commissions don't get automatically adjusted until after the aftermarket session is finished. So I don't do that until the next day generally, put in my commissions and fees. So my accuracy last night was 54%. I had 13 trades in total, 7 winning and 6 in the red. And my risk reward ratio was 0.74. So not great risk reward ratio. If I hadn't have taken the trades that I shouldn't have really gotten into, like VSTE, I don't even trade penny stocks, and you know, giving that a whirl didn't work at all. And just holding on to a couple of stocks, couple of trades that, you know, weren't really holding on to those trades and just not taking my stop loss. You know, once again, it's holding and hoping and thinking that the stock will rally and I can take profit. When if I just taken my loss at 10 cents or 15 cents, then, you know, I'd only be down $20, $30 instead of 70 or 100 and 140. So really important to remember to take your stop loss and be very disciplined in that area, because I think that's where I am having trouble, is holding and hoping, not taking my stop loss all the time, and also when I do have a winner or a winning trade, I'm not holding long enough. I'm not waiting for an exit indicator. I am getting shaken out of some of these trades where I do have you know, a good trade and it's going to go further, and I'm getting out too soon. I think the DWTX trade, for example, I got 22 cents a share on that, but I possibly could have got another 10 cents, 15 cents, as it actually, as soon as I sold, it broke out. Broke over VWAP, and I mean, it was very quick though. It was basically a shooting start. It fired up, went through VWAP, and came back pretty much straight away. So yeah, it's just being more consistent with my stop loss and taking those losses earlier rather than holding them, expecting them to work. So really got to get better at that. So that was my day. I overtraded. I stayed up all night and traded pretty much the whole open session. My last trade on MSTZ was, I entered the trade about at 2:13 and my exit was at 2:42. I actually wasn't in front of my computer when that exit happened. I was taking my son to swimming. So I had placed a limit order hoping it would come up to that area. It did. It actually only made it to $20.50 and my exit target price was $20.40. So close call, but in the end it was a nice green trade and brought me back down to a easily manageable red day. So my red days and my daily targets are around $50. So I'm looking at trying to take $50 out of the market, and if I have a red day, try to keep it around $50 as well. Yeah, so I think that's it for today. If you have any comments, let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Hei a popo.